Here at the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte, and we're here with the man who was hosting the Republicans, even though he's a great Democrat. Bob Buckhorn, the Tampa Mayor, joins us here. Thank you for joining us. I want to talk to you about what you said in your speech earlier, the differences in the two crowds that you saw in Tampa, where you hosted and spoke, and, of course, what we're seeing here, what we saw last night with Michelle Obama and the Democratic Party.
Well, it's interesting because the Democratic Party is so diverse. I mean, we look like America. And, you know, last week when I was at the Republican convention, you know, when I looked out over the crowd, the demographics skewed differently. It didn't look as diverse as what we see here. It didn't appear to be as welcoming of folks of all shades and hues and ethnicities and religions. And that's what I like about being a Democrat. And coming to events like this is I get to see America. I get to see it up close and personal, and I know that we represent the hopes and the aspirations of all America.
Tell me a little bit about Florida. For those who are not familiar, our audience goes from Florida to Ohio, Colorado to Maine. And a lot of people have made a focus of the I-4 corridor between Orlando and Tampa. Tell us a little bit about that and how it is going to be the decisive part of the election.
Well, as I-4 goes, and particularly as Tampa goes, so goes I-4. As I-4 goes, so goes Florida. And as Florida goes, so goes the nation. I-4 is the perfect petri dish for America. It's a swing state. The city of Tampa and Hillsborough County voted for President Clinton in '96, voted twice for President Bush, and then voted for President Obama in 2008. It is the ultimate swing county. And so if your message resonates in the I-4 corridor with swing voters there, your message can play anywhere else in the country. So that's why, you know, the candidates spend so much time between Orlando and Tampa. Big media markets. Tampa is the biggest media market in the state. So it is a critical area for presidential candidates. We will see them in that corridor probably every week for the next 2 months.
I mean, on that issue, it would seem to me that a middle class message that was resonating last night by the Democratic Party, and one that talks about people who make $25,000 and $35,000 and $45,000 a year. You know, the average median income in the country is $45K. That what we saw from the Republicans and Mitt Romney and chauffeur after chauffeur and champagne after champagne just doesn't connect with people in the I-4 corridor.
Well, I think that's true. You know, and that's Governor Romney's problem, is his ability to connect with average folk. That doesn't mean, you know, making money is a crime. I hope to be one of the one percenters. I aspire to be one of the one percenters. But I think he has challenges relating to the lives of everyday Americans. And so when you see things like making a $10,000 bet with somebody and meaning it,
right?
You know, that $10,000 is a third of your starting teacher's salary. And so that puts you in a whole different universe. And whether or not you understand the challenges of real Americans who get up every day to try to do the right thing, to try and feed their families, who work 2 jobs, who have sometimes difficulty choosing between paying their mortgage or paying for their medicine, then you have to wonder how that person will be as president. And so for the I-4 swing voters, particularly women and particularly Hispanics, that vote is, I think, what's going to decide the I-4 corridor and ultimately what will decide the election.
We're talking with Bob Buckhorn, the Tampa Mayor, here at the Democratic National Committee Convention. I'm interested in getting specifically to some of those folks that work in the I-4 corridor. Teachers, nurses, firefighters, police officers. These are people that Republicans have made a very big play in terms of, you know, they don't deserve the collective bargaining rights. They don't deserve this. And for a lot of those people, you know, they've gone through difficult times. How do they look at President Obama in your mind and what he can do for them versus the other side?
Well, I think they see him as having the best understanding of the trials and tribulations of their lives. They see him, you know, caring about folks who come from tough backgrounds. You know, he came from a tough background himself. I think they can relate to him more than they can relate to a Governor Romney. I think they look at the investment that he's made in infrastructure, and they see jobs being created. They see bridges and roads being repaired. They see economic development occurring around it. You know, they see a guy that gets it. They also see a guy that inherited one hell of a mess. And I think while they'd like the progress to be faster, I think they also recognize that he didn't make the mess. It wasn't created over 3 years, and it's not going to be fixed in 3 years. And so, you know, I think when they weigh all those things, even though this recession has kicked them in the teeth. They want progress. They want to know that someone cares about them. And when they look at the two candidates, I don't know how they couldn't come down on the side of President Obama as being far more empathetic, far more understanding of their lives, and far more inclined to do what it's going to take to help them get out of what they find themselves in and move to a better place.
Final question. Governor Scott, I call him 30% Scott, obviously has done a lot of damage to the state, not only in health care, but on the issue of transportation. He got rid of the rail. That's 30,000 jobs. That's a number of other places that you could develop, Dade City and other markets in between Orlando and Tampa. How much is that going to play in this election? Because it goes right to Obama's message: infrastructure, investment, education, and alternative energy.
Well, I think the Obama campaign will make the case that if you like Governor Scott, you're going to love Governor Romney. And that same mentality about destroying the bargaining units, about turning back the $3 billion that the Obama administration had committed to the state of Florida to build the first high-speed rail corridor, 6,000 short-term jobs, economic development opportunities all along that rail route. If you like Governor Scott, then vote for Governor Romney, because you're just going to get more of the same. If you don't like Governor Scott and you don't like the path that he's chosen, then you need to vote for President Obama, because the choices are that clear.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
That was great. You survived the Tampa convention.
I did, yeah, and I was real proud of our city. And we never looked better. We never performed better. I think we set the benchmark for how conventions should be run.
Good luck to your race.
Thanks, yeah. I appreciate
Thank you.
it. You bet.
All
It's good
the
to see you.
Good to see you.